Hello and welcome back to the Corruption of Colton podcast, episode 13. Today we are going to be talking about the debut studio album by Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory, originally released on October 24th, 2000. This is regarded as another one of the best metal albums, one of the best new metal albums of the 2000s. It really paved the way for new metal as a genre. New metal was already out, yes, but this really revolutionized new metal and, kind of proved what new metal could be. It really proved the intensity and the talent that could be put into new metal. So it's a great album for that reason, and it also just has some great fucking songs, which we're gonna go over here in a second. So let's get into Hybrid Theory and the tracks. Hybrid Theory opens up with the song Paper Cut, which is a song about people you've hated for many years, which I can definitely relate to. I know what it's like to have a person in your life who is constant, who you just really dislike. You just can't get along with them no matter what. They can't get along with you, and so you both just refuse to get along with each other because either you or the other person just doesn't want to fucking try. That I can definitely relate to that. I've had some of those in my life, so I definitely can understand that feeling. And this song does what Linkin Park does well. It has this nice electronic rock guitar intro. And the verses has this rap metal, new metal vibe, a new metal, rap metal vibe with a catchy chorus, which is definitely what Linkin Park is known for and does best. Those little rap new metal songs with the catchy choruses. That's what I love about Linkin Park and other bands from this decade, from the 2000s, from this era. There were a lot of bands like this, but I feel like Linkin Park really influenced them along with Korn. Korn really helped kind of influence that rappy new metal direction as well. So I'd say Linkin Park, along with Korn, Linkin Park is one of the bands that has done this trope best, and this song is proof of that. So let's move on to the next track. One Step Closer is a song written by Chester Bennington, the frontman of Linkin Park, about his frustrations about growing up because he was always bullied and felt like he never fit in no matter what. He felt like he never fit in life, and that's probably why I relate to this song so much. This is probably one of the most relatable songs on the album for me, lyrically and instrument-wise. I really can just feel the mood of this song. I never really fit in much either in school growing up before I was in my vision program that I'm in now. When I was in mainstream, when I was in elementary school going to public school, I really did feel like I didn't fit in. I was always bullied for being legally blind. People would always rudely test my vision and be like, "How many fingers you holding up, boy?" Just being very condescending, very disrespectful, rude. I was made fun of for not being able to exactly look people in the eyes without blinking because I was visually impaired, and it was just because my vision was low, it was just awkward for me I felt awkward looking people in the eye and staring. People are like, "Oh, some of the most important skills during a conversation is looking someone in the eye and having that eye contact." And for me, eye contact is hard because of my low vision. I kind of squint sometimes, and since people would always make fun of that squinting, looking people in the eye during conversation just got very uncomfortable for me, and I just kind of stopped doing it, and I've kind of lost the ability to even have that skill these days, and I get made fun of it still today, but it's just hard. I don't really know how else to say it except that it's hard to lack certain skills as a blind person. I mean, looking someone in the eye, it's also hard to lack the skill to be able to drive because it means that you rely on people way too much. To get a ride somewhere, I have to rely on my friends and family to drive me places, and it makes them frustrated with me because sometimes it's inconvenient for their schedule, but I have to go, well, I need to get to this appointment or I need to get to this friend's house or something, and because my friend needs me to do something, people rely on me. Just because I'm blind doesn't mean people don't rely on me too, but when people rely on me, I have to rely on other people to get to my friends who rely on me, and it's just a whole circle of shit, you know? It's a circle of shit is the best way to describe it, and it really can be hard sometimes. And, you know, I just personally relate to the lyrics a lot, so that's my take on this song. Let's get on to the next track. With You is where we get to see the vocal chemistry between Chester Bennington and Michael Shinona of Linkin Park. He's the backing vocalist. But aside from that, this song isn't really that interesting in my opinion. I mean, I do like the fun fact that it is the first song where we really get to hear clearly their chemistry singing together in the chorus and stuff. But aside from that, this song doesn't really speak to me. I don't really dig it. I mean, I listened to it, obviously, because I was listening to this album to prepare for the review. And compared to the first two songs, this song is fine. I don't really like it, but I don't really dislike it either. It's just kind of there. It's kind of one of those songs that I don't really come back to on Hybrid Theory. Still a great album, though. It has still revolutionized nu metal. Obviously, it is still one of the most important metal albums in history, and I still love the album. Like I said in the last one, in the Dio review, just because I don't like one or two songs off of it does not mean that it's not a good album, and that's the case here too. I just don't really have much interest. Now, if this song is on, I will listen to it. Like, if it comes on in my rotation, I'll listen to it because I do like the instrumentation work. It's just I don't know if it's the way the song is sung or if it's the lyrics or what, but it's just not really that interesting to me vocally, except for getting to see Mike Shinona sing with Chester Bennington on full front for the first time, considering this is the first record. But, you know, this one, again, it's just not that interesting to me, you know? I mean, it's fine. That's all I have to say about it. Points of Authority is pretty good. I really like the vibe the intro has going on. There's, like, a little bit of rapping, and behind the rapping, the instrumental is kind of, like, not fading, but, like, you know those songs where you, like, the instruments kind of sound like they are through a filter, and, like, the song hasn't really, like, not started yet, but the instrumental hasn't fully kicked in, so, like, the song hasn't really started yet, and the instruments and the instrumental's at, like, this low volume, and you can just kind of hear it, and then the song slowly gets louder and louder. It's that kind of intro, and while the instruments are doing that, like, building up, you can just hear some rapping going on from Chester Bennington, and I think that's just a pretty cool way to open the song. I like songs that do that, so applauds to Linkin Park for doing that on this track, and it's just a pretty fun song to listen to. I really enjoyed it. It's a good song. I don't really know what the meaning of this song was. I don't really have much to, like, go into here. I usually look into the meanings of each song and kind of read the lyrics whenever I do an album review, but I couldn't really find too much on this. I tried to look stuff up about this, but I couldn't really find much online, and I could find the lyrics, though, but I couldn't really see what the song was expressing, because I usually like to read what the artist says about it, but I couldn't see anything that Linkin Park wrote regarding to, like, in regards to this, and the fan base, I wasn't really finding many notes on it. This must be just a very not well-known song from this album. It must be a very underlooked one. It must not be listened to much. I like it. I think it's underrated then. If people don't really know this one and there aren't many opinions on it, then Linkin Park fans build an opinion on it. It's a pretty good song. Listen to it. It's got the fun chorus. It's got some nice lyrics between the verses that you can dance to or bang your head to, whatever you want to do. But let's start a discussion on this song. Let's get into the next one. So, along with In the End, this next track, Fallen, was one of the big hit singles from this album. It was on the radio a lot through the 2000s, and I can see why. It's a fun sing-along metal song. I even enjoy singing it sometimes myself when I'm out on a walk or in the car, and I'll go, falling into my sins. But I don't usually sing it like that, but usually I sing it with my raspy, vocal style because I want to be the frontman of a metal band. So I sing it like, "Follow me with my sins," like that, because I want to be a metal singer. I probably would not recommend listening to that last part with headphones in next time. For anybody who was using headphones, I'm sorry, headphones users. But I like to display a little bit of my own talent here on the podcast. I have been told that my metal vocals are decent, and I'm hoping to continue to perfect them and actually get better and better at them because I want to be a metal musician. I'll probably end up making hard rock metal songs myself, just like Linkin Park. Anyway, um, this was a fun sing-along song like I just demonstrated. And I just enjoy it. This is another great hit song, along with In the End, which was a big hit, of course. Let's move on to the next track. So, funny story, when I originally saw the title for this song, which is Runaway by Linkin Park, I thought of the Bon Jovi song, because Bon Jovi has a song, for 1984, where it's like, "Oh, she's a little runaway." So, I thought of the Bon Jovi song, believe it or not. But anyway, this is probably the most creative Linkin Park song in my eyes, because the way I read it and the way I perceive it is that it's very open. I feel like there isn't really a specific topic in the lyrics here. Like, I feel like it was written broadly to the point where the song is singing about wanting to run away from lies and wanting to see the truth, and really it could apply to anything. Because I feel like there are times in life where we just want to run from a situation, and I feel like this song is just about wanting to run away from a bad situation, an awkward situation, whatever it might be. I feel like the lyrics don't give enough details for you to know what they want to run away from, but that they just want to run away. And I think that's the best way to write a song like this, because it means that anybody can relate to it. So, good job on you, Linkin Park. I feel like you've written a song that really anybody can relate to. I can relate to this for sure. There are things I just want to run away from, I certainly want to run away from financial issues. I certainly want to run away from some of my own personal issues, but we can't. It's life, right? But what are you going to do? Let's move on to the next track. So I perceive By Myself as a song about being caught in between wanting to be yourself and wanting to impress people, which I think is a very relatable situation. I feel like whenever we go out and we make new friends, we're caught in between those two decisions, because for one thing, we want to impress them because we want to make friends with them, and we want to show that we're cool, or but and that we're in with the times, and at the same time we want to show who we truly are, because we want our friends to appreciate us for who we are. But at the same time, as humans, psychologically, we hope for validation, and sometimes we be someone we're not to be validated, because we want praise and we want people to like us. But at the same time, you should always be yourself, because the only people worth being in your life are the people who appreciate the real you. And I think it definitely takes a lot of self-love and self-discipline to realize that you don't need to be someone else for someone else. You know what I mean? So I think that I suffered with that, and I've only recently started to accept that I need to be myself and only myself, and that's kind of how I've been lately. Everyone I introduce myself to, I'm just me. And I feel like even adults older than me, I'm 18, I feel like someone even 30 years old suffers with it. Everyone kind of comes to terms with it at different ages. Took me a while to come to terms with it, but I did. I feel like for anybody out there who's struggling, just do whatever you need to do. See a therapist, reflect on your life, whatever you need to do. But come to terms with who you are, because you'll be much happier once you accept yourself. Always accept yourself first before you accept anybody else. Next up, we got the Linkin Park Top Dog, the magnum opus, the big single from this album, the song everybody knows. I know it, you know it. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter, that epic song about anxiety and depression that just everybody knows. And I definitely relate to it. You know, that feeling of feeling like you tried so hard and you feel like you got so far, but in the end, nothing ever matters. It's just never enough, right? You know, I think we've all been there in our lives, either during a breakup, or maybe we lost our job, or lost a friend, or had a falling out with our family, whatever it may be. You feel like everything's hopeless, and I think we've all been there. I know I've been there, so I think everybody can relate to this, and that's the thing Linkin Park does best on this album, is they write their songs in a way where almost anybody can relate to them, because the lyrics are so broad, and I feel like that's a great thing that Linkin Park has done with this album and just in their career in general. So I would say that this song kind of shows that best, along with one other song on the album that I mentioned earlier, but this song shows some of the best qualities of Linkin Park. It's got the rap metal vocal feel along with the heavy hard rock instrumentation. It's just a great nu metal song. Anyways, let's move on to the next track. A Place for My Head is a song about somebody not understanding what you're trying to tell them and, you know, misinterpreting it, and it can get very frustrating, and I can totally relate to that, to be honest. It happens a lot in my own household. You know, I try to tell my parents how I feel, and they just think I'm constantly arguing with them and talking back to them because they don't want to hear my own opinion, but only their own. So I can totally relate to somebody trying to tell somebody something, but they just misinterpret it or don't want to hear it, like don't even want to listen to it at all, and only want to hear their opinion, and only hear their opinion discussed, or just not understanding what you're trying to tell them because they're too clouded by their own judgment. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of ignorant people out there like that who only can stick to their own thoughts and their own beliefs, but are not open to anybody else's thoughts, only their own, and so they're never able to tell somebody what they're trying to really tell them because they think you're just talking back to them and disrespecting them. You know, I can totally relate to that. Again, happens a lot with even me and my own parents. And I'm a full-grown adult, by the way. Like, I'm not even, like, I can understand if my parents didn't want to listen to me because they think I'm some stupid kid. But, you know, I'm not. I'm a grown man. And even, like, to this day, my parents are so clouded by their own beliefs and thoughts that they don't want to hear what their adult children have to say and how their own adult children feel, right? So I can totally relate to this position that the front man is in, right? And on top of that, it's just a very catchy song, which makes me enjoy it. You know, I like songs where not only can I relate to it, but I can relate to it and it's catchy. Like, I love songs that are catchy because it means that I'm going to remember it more, and I'm going to relate to it more because I remember it. And then when I'm in that situation again in life, I can sing it, you know, in my head and to myself, which will help me calm down because music is a stress reliever for me. And if I can sing a song that, you know, that describes my situation, I will calm down a lot faster. And that's why I think I really appreciate this Linkin Park song. This Linkin Park album itself is relatable on so many levels because different songs in this album have described different feelings for me. So I am so far really enjoying this album. It's been a while since I listened to it, and I forgot I love it this much. Let's move on to the next track. Forgotten is another amazing Linkin Park song. It literally jumps straight to the point. Like, literally, the frontman of Linkin Park just starts singing immediately on the track. The drums, guitars, and bass all immediately jump in. There's no instrumental intro. Like, you know, a lot of songs will start with a guitar riff or a bass riff or a drum piece. But no, this song just immediately starts with the frontman of Linkin Park singing his heart out. The instruments immediately kick in. The drums probably kick in the fastest. They immediately kick in with the vocals. And this song has what Linkin Park does best. Catchy lyrics, catchy choruses. And I'll say it again, but one of the things I really appreciate about this version of Linkin Park, especially like this era, is that there's these like verses with really creative, catchy lyrics, but then the choruses have really catchy, fun sing-along choruses. So there's like these cool rap-like verses with creative lyrics, And then the choruses are really catchy, which makes the songs really enjoyable and makes you want to go back to them and listen to them because it's a combination of rap and metal. And I usually am not a big rap fan, but Linkin Park somehow finds a way for me to enjoy rap. I didn't really enjoy rap much until I listened to Linkin Park. And then when I started listening to Linkin Park, it made me appreciate rap a little more because there was still a metal twist on it, which made me want to listen to more actual rap. Like, I actually do enjoy listening to Eminem now, and I don't think I would have explored rap as a genre if Linkin Park wasn't there to expose me to it, because originally I didn't like rap that much, probably because the rap I was exposed to as a kid was Kanye West, and his music is disgusting, and Kanye West as a person is disgusting. Let's not sugarcoat anything there. Kanye West is fucking disgusting. Let's not put anything under the bridge there. Let's not, sugarcoat anything. Kanye West is a fucking disgusting human being. I am not going to sugarcoat that. Anyway, this is another great, catchy Linkin Park song. That's what I have to say on it. This next track, Cure for the Itch, is more of an interlude track, and it's just a bunch of DJ sounds. When you go to a bar or a school dance, you'll hear that sound of the DJ flipping discs or whatever. That thing that he does with his fingers. I don't really know how to make the sound with my mouth, but I know how to describe it. When they run their fingers across that pad thing or twist their fingers on it and it makes that sound. You hear that a lot in this song, and I don't really care for it, just because there's not really anything interesting going on. I mean, it's just DJ sounds. What do you want me to say about it? But I'm not really going to hold it against the album's score because it's an interlude. I'm just saying, since it's a track on the album, I'm going to review it, and it's uninteresting. So, let's move on to the next track. This next track, Pushing Me Away, is a classic case of a relationship in ruins, right? It's about a failing relationship, and the only thing to really fix it is to push each other away and leave the relationship. And I've definitely been in that situation. I can understand, you don't really want to leave the relationship, but it's the best course of action. That happened to me. I dated a girl for about 4.5 years. So here's a little small story time. I dated a girl for about 4.5 years, right? And, we got older. And we just started wanting different things. I became an adult and I started... What's the best way to put this without, making my audience uncomfortable? It was basically I wanted a more intimate relationship, we'll put it. And she wasn't really interested in that. And obviously I respected her on that. I was like, well, if you don't want that, I'm going to respect that. She didn't want me to leave the relationship. She's like, come on, we can work it out. And I was like, well, how do we work it out? We have different needs. I can't be in a relationship with somebody who can't fulfill that need. I want to have kids one day, and I want to get married, and I mean, yeah, you can adopt kids, and she made a good point there, but I wanted at least, and I would be willing to adopt kids. I just wanted one kid that was biologically mine, and she couldn't offer that because she didn't want the intimacy. And it's not that I don't want to adopt a kid. I just want one biologically blood child. One. At least one. I would adopt two, or I would, if I wanted 2 or 3 more kids, I would adopt them. I just wanted one biological kid. Just for the experience, to see what it was like. And clearly we were indifferent there, right? And so what else are we supposed to do? The relationship was hanging by a thread. We were fighting about that constantly. So, to avoid more problems, I left the relationship. And, she tried, and then she would send her friends after me. They were like, you were making the relationship about skin. You just wanted her body. Why does a relationship have to be about sex? Why does that have to be about skin? And I'm like, it's not about her body. It's not about her skin, you dumbass. It's about having just different needs in a relationship and different wants in life. There's nothing wrong with that. And, they started calling me a pig and a bad man just because I wanted intimacy in my life. And I'm like, sex and intimacy are very natural. It's not like I forced it on her. I didn't rape her or anything. I wasn't going to. I literally respectfully told her that if she didn't want that, it's her body. I can't force her. That's not disrespectful. If anything, that is respectful. Most men would probably just force her to have sex with them. I didn't. I fucking left because I respected her, and I'm respectful that, women have the right to do what they want with their bodies. But nah. Apparently, anybody who wants the sexual experience in life is just a dirty pig now. No matter the reason, no matter the situation, even if you're respectful or not. And that's why I hate the society that we live in. And I'm not trying to whine or anything. Don't misinterpret this as me just being a whiny man who wants sex all day. But, I'm just saying, we live in a society where, because women are raped so much, we've now painted this false image of sex, of it being some very bad thing, even though it's very natural, and that's how people reproduce and have been reproducing for millions of years. So, I think that the view of intimacy is literally messed up. It's fucked at this point. There's problems that need to be fixed, but I don't know how to go about fixing this falsely painted image. But as a society, we should try to repaint it, right? We should repaint this image of sex as it being more of a positive thing. Now, I'm not saying forget about rape and everything. We should still do something for rapes to stop. They shouldn't continue to happen, but not only should we repaint a more positive image of intimacy and reproduction, but we also should put a stop to rape. And the first step to making sex have a more positive outlook is to put a stop to rape. Honestly, that's the first step. But it seems like nobody wants to take those steps to stop that from happening. And I feel like I'm the odd one out because I feel like the only person who wants to put a stop to rape. And apparently I'm seen as an odd man because I'm the one person who is on the female side and wants her to stop. And I'm the only man who disagrees with, the idea that rape is okay, because a lot of men seem to think there's nothing wrong with rape, at least men I've met, but I have a problem with it happening, and I think rape is bad, and me having a problem with it apparently makes me the odd one, and I don't know why. I feel like more men should be respectful of women, but apparently we're back in the 1930s now. Sorry about my little ramble, but it really just pisses me off feeling like the odd one, right? Anyways, let's move on to the next track. I decided to review the bonus track edition, so we have 2 more to go. Let's go. I decided not to review the high voltage track from this album since it's a live track, and I wouldn't really have much to say about it because it's a live song. I mean, what do you want me to say about it, right? I don't really have much to say except for it was done live. I feel like with live tracks, there's not much to really say because you can't hear it as well as a studio track. Not that you can't hear it, but there's a crowd in the way, there's different instruments. It's not really mixed. It's a live song. There's not really mixing and mastering that goes into it, so the sounds are uneven. Sometimes the instruments are louder, sometimes the vocals are louder. So there's not really much to analyze for a review. Live songs are fun to listen to, but they're not really good for reviewing and analyzing. So let's go on to My December, the final track on this deluxe edition. There are remixes, but again, remixes are just songs from Linkin Park that are just given new styles to play the song, and I don't really have much to say about them. They're still the same song, so let's just talk about My December, the last track. My December is a song about going out on the road and missing home. A lot of bands have done this, but I think Linkin Park is one of the bands that did it best. I really like the addition of the piano here. I think that the piano is a nice addition considering Linkin Park doesn't really use piano much since they're a new metal band and a rap metal band. They more rely on guitars and drums and rap style beats mixed in. They don't really use pianos that much, so I think this is a very nice addition and a fun way to end the album. It's a lot softer, a lot calmer. It's more ballady, and Linkin Park's not really known for ballads, so I think this is just a little fun addition. I wouldn't say it's a new life for Linkin Park or a new life, but like it's different, and it's a good kind of different. I really like it. The lyrics blend in well, the piano blends in well with the other instruments, because it still has like a rap metal vibe. It's just a lot softer, and I like the soft side to Linkin Park. It's fun. And this works a lot better than the other soft Linkin Park, let me tell you. Because later on into their career, Linkin Park would do more pop stuff, like poppier, rapper stuff, and it did not work as well as this. It seems like they looked at this and thought, we do soft songs pretty well. And yeah, this soft song was done pretty well, but the rest of it was not. Their other pop stuff, their other like poppier albums, because this is just one song, but their poppier albums fucking suck. They learned nothing from this. None of the good things about this song carried over to those albums. It's like they took all the bad parts of this and carried them over. None of the good and creative parts of this track were put into it. None of the soft, good energy put into this was put into those later albums. It was just a bunch of lazy energy that they put into the poppier stuff. But here it doesn't feel lazy. It just feels creative and different compared to everything else on the album. But anyways, let's get into my final thoughts here. This was an amazing track and a very fun and creative way to end the album, by the way. After re-listening to this record, I stand by my opinion of it that it is one of the best new metal albums of all time. Its instrumentation is a little bit ahead of its time and is really creative. I really enjoy the blend of rap instrumentation because it really helped me get into rap music. Beforehand, like I said, I wasn't really too into rap, and this album was a good segue for me to discover artists like Eminem and help me appreciate rap a little more, because before listening to this album, once again, because it'd been a few years, and after re-listening to this, I realized rap isn't that bad. At first I really hated rap and even hated people like Eminem and Tupac and all the famous and all the actual great famous rappers, some of the 90s rappers, because I actually think 90s hip-hop is pretty good after re-listening to that as well, like after re-listening to 90s hip-hop, but I don't think I would have gone back to 90s rap if I hadn't gone back to this album and appreciated the rap elements this album did. So this album really helped me appreciate some of rap's music as a genre and really helped me actually appreciate elements of the genre, so thanks to Hybrid Theory for that. This album, once again, like I said, it used great elements from rap. It also used great elements of metal. There was still some pretty heavy guitar riffs and great drum beats and creative bass lines here. So overall, the instrumentation on here gets a plus from me. Sorry, I nearly hiccuped there. Also, this album used some creative lyrics. I really liked it. Some of the songs' lyrics really spoke to me. Some of the songs that really spoke to me were songs like Pushing Me Away and A Place for My Head, so those were probably some of my favorites, and they were the deep cuts from this album. I probably like the deep cuts even more than the singles, which it used to be the other way around. I used to really more just like In the End from this album, and I used to really only like look at Linkin Park and go, oh, they have a few good songs, I like the singles, but after re-listening to this album, I realized I do like some of the deep cuts that I mentioned. But the singles on here are fucking amazing, especially In the End, which is a great song to come back to if you're just really depressed or really mad and you just need to come back to something to jam out to. Do In the End, I would 100% recommend, 10 out of 10. Especially if you're depressed, listen to In the End. It will really, it will make you feel understood, In the End will make you feel like you're not the only depressed person, and it might help you because you realize you're not alone. So definitely come back to that single. And just in general, if you want a good new metal album, listen to Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Anyways, this was a great album, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the Corruption of Colton podcast. Thanks for listening. This has been Corruption of Colton podcast, episode 13.